Here with Jason Holland, video analyst for the Munster Rugby squad. Jason, in a short, briefly, what exactly does your role entail?
Initially it's obviously to provide the footage of a lot of our games, some of our trainings, so that games and that can be broken down. Individuals can look at it, look at their stats, look at what they're doing well and what they're not doing so well and how to improve. So it's basically just giving the footage together and sort of breaking it down so the boys can come in and sort of assess their performances.
So the lads as a squad, they look at the overall game and then they will look at their own individual.
Yeah.
That tightly.
Well, yeah. A lot of the boys don't really look at the whole game. They just look at the moments you've broken down, really. The individual things they do, why things aren't working, basically. The other thing that they will come and look at a lot is the footage I've got to get of the opposition we're playing. So the opposition that we're coming up for the weekend, for instance, you'd have the last 5 or 6 games, and they've sort of broken that down into where they might be weak or where they might be strong, and so the boys will spend a lot of time looking at the opposition as well.
And so is that a question, Jason, that the forwards will look at opposition forward play rather than opposition back play?
Generally they'd spend a lot more time, for instinstance, forwards of their line-outs and scrums and that sort of thing. They would spend more time, but they obviously do spend a bit, time looking at players, and it's not only backs on backs and forwards on forwards.
And I mean, in the course of a week, how many hours do you reckon would players spend? I mean, do they take the stuff home with them? You give them stuff that?
Yeah, a lot of them spend a lot of time in the office. There's computers in the office in both Cork and Limerick. So they, an absolute minimum that boys would do in a week would probably be, they'd probably do 3 sort of 3/4 of an hour sessions in a week. And a lot of guys, a couple of guys like the hard out boys like Paulie and Donners who love to study lineouts for hours and hours will have their own computer, so I just give them the footage and they take it home, and I'm sure they go to bed with them at night.
Now it's 3 years since you were involved on the playing level at Munster, and back then did you have a video analyst back then?
We had Georgie Murray, but I don't think I ever looked at videos, to be honest. I did maybe a half an hour would be the absolute tops that I'd do in a week, and so it's just come on leaps and bounds. Obviously has its huge advantages in that you know what's going on and you can help yourself to improve a bit, but as long as you don't get too hung up on it, I believe you can't get too hung up on watching videos. You've got to actually go out and play some footy sometime too.
But nevertheless, a very important part, an integral part of the preparation of the side.
Definitely.
And how they approach the game.
Definitely, you can't get left behind. I suppose everyone else is doing it, everyone knows what you're doing, and so it's a matter of not getting left behind but keeping a bit of a balance.
You were in the Rico Arena, and obviously there must have been mixed emotions. Having been there in a technical capacity rather than a playing capacity, do you miss the buzz of a big match day? Or?
Oh, big time. I'd say that'll last for me forever. You always, you don't get nervous before. I don't get nervous before now like I used to. But the minute you turn up and you're up in the bus and the Munster people are clapping you in, and you do miss it. But you can't play footy forever, I suppose.
And tell me, Jason, coming towards the end of that game with 5 minutes to go, how were you feeling?
Yeah, no, I was nervous enough because it was it could have gone either way, and it would have been, boys would have been so gutted if they'd lost that one. That the way they performed well under the levels they know where they can perform. So it was nerve-wracking, but we got out of it, so we lived to fight another day.
How intense is the preparation going to be in the run-ups to the final?
It'll be huge. It's kicked off already. The boys are starting to lose already. Without sort of trying to take away from the Magnus Leagues games, but she'll be huge. But mate, it's a big effort for 2 or 3 weeks, and get the rewards and have a good summer.